Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're an already joined member, then welcome back. Today we're gonna do my blush collection part 2, which is gonna be all my creams, all my cream blushes, which means we're gonna talk about the stick form and the compact form of a cream blush, and then in the next part we'll do liquid blushes. So let's get into it with the compacts, and we're going to talk first about this one that we also talked about in the powder video, because this is the Patrick Ta. I'm sorry, the packaging is pretty blinding. Patrick Ta double take cream and powder blush. I have mine in the shade She's Blushing, which has a powder and a cream. Today we're going to talk about the cream. I'm going to swatch all creams for you, and then like in between I'll clean off my hands. This is what that looks like swatched out. It's slightly darker than the powder in the compact, as you can also see in the pan. It is a little bit darker. I recently used this for the first time the way Patrick Ta intended it, so with the powder like first and then the cream over it, and I did really like it. But because this is a little bit darker than the powder, you do need to be careful, because if you're as pale as I am, like I went a little bit overboard because I didn't expect this to be darker than the powder, which obviously anyone with eyes could have seen that, but so it was my own fault. But I just like, if you are wanting to do that same trick, just remember that the cream can be darker than the powder and you can go overboard with it. And then we have three, we are immediately getting into other, like a different kind of blinding packaging. We're getting into the Cosmic Beauty blushes. I have 3 of them from the, what is it called? Like Sinister mystery box, and I got 3 shades. I got the shade Got Chills, which is this super bright baby pink, and it's very nice and blendable. This is what it looks like when you just layer a little bit up, and if you go in with more product, you'll get a brighter kind of pink. I don't know if this would work like as a bright blush on everyone. I do think it has somewhat of a see-through base, but I think this might wash some people of darker skin color out. It could be that it's perfect, but just so you know. Then we have the shade Dazed. The only thing I have to complain about these is the name isn't on the packaging. So if you want to remember what shade this is, you need to keep it in the box. But you know, I don't mind it too much, but I know there are people that would really like that, it would really annoy them, so I'm just mentioning it. Then we have this shade, which is this is Dazed, which is a beautiful red tone, like burgundy kind of shade. You can easily build this up to be even darker than it is on my hand, so you can build it up to be as dark as it is in the pan. I really do like these Cosmic brushes, Cosmic Beauty, sorry. Like, they used to be called Cosmic brushes, but now they're called Cosmic Beauty. I really like the cream blushes. They're just like good cream blushes, and I enjoy them. They blend out beautifully. The only thing I have noticed, and we'll get into that more in this video, is I have noticed that for me to grab like a compact, it happens less often than a stick. Also because often like I want to reach into the compact with my brush, but obviously there's always like some kind of dust on your brush, even if you have just cleaned it off, and then the dust gets into the pan and it totally freaks me out. But this is that purple shade in one swatch. I'm going to apply a little bit more, which makes it more bright, but you can like blend this out to a point where you can use it if you're my skin tone. If you do like a purple blush, like it will be a purple blush. So if you don't like that. Don't buy this. But it's a very, very good like cream formula. It dries down eventually. But I like to set my, like eventually, it dries down, but I always set my cream blushes with powder, so I wouldn't know how it works without powder because that's not how I do my makeup. But then we have this, and we're getting kind of like, this is more of a mousse texture. This is the r.e.m Peanuts Plush Cream Blush. This is what it looks like. It's a shade, and you can immediately see, I hope, in the swatch that it's more diffused than these, because it's kind of like that moussey cream to powder texture. It says, I believe, that this is a, it doesn't say it's a cream to powder blush, but it kind of feels like a cream to powder formula, where it is almost like, it feels like a powder now that it's on my hand, but in the pan it feels more like a moussey texture. I do really enjoy this shade. It's a very beautiful, like everyday shade, and also the formula is very nice. When I got this, I reached for this like for a very long time until I reached for something else again. Wait, what am I saying? Like, English is hard today. I used it nonstop when I got it. And then we have a Colourpop Guilty Pleasure Super Shock Cheek Pearlized. I know this is actually a highlighter, but I like to use this as a blush stopper. It has this gold shift, and that is what it looks like. It shows up on my skin first as a highlighter, but when I build it up, it looks more like a light blush, as you might be able to tell, especially in the reflect. And what I like doing with the formula like this is I'm going to put it over that other one. Look, it made that one a little bit more diffused and beautifully shiny, and that is how I most of the time use this. But I don't really like using it as a pure highlight because, as you can see, it will give a little bit of a cast on my skin tone. But I'm insanely pale, so keep that in mind. We have another Colourpop one, which is called Marguerite. And yes, I bought this shade myself. And yes, it's very, very bright. So can I just like dig my brush in here like I do with my cream bronzer from Colourpop? No, I just tap my finger in here. And this is the color payoff you get with just tapping your finger in there, which is how I would apply it. But you can definitely build this up, which is what I'm going to show you now. If you have a darker skin tone or you like a insanely intense blush, you can totally build this up to a place where it's just as vibrant as it is in a pan. Ta-da! And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful formula. It's a beautiful shade. I was kind of ambitious buying this since, you know, my skin tone, but I like a good bright blush because we have another one. Yeah, we have another bright blush. And yes, this is very similar in color. This is a little bit more red tone. This is a little bit more pink tone. And that is a Super Shock formula. And this is a True Cream formula. And this is the Revolution and Sandy cream blush. This is what it looks like applied once. As you can already see, it's a little bit more pinky than the other one. But this one we can also build up. And this gets even darker, I think, if you build it up. But because it's a cream and not like a putty formula, you'll have to set it down with powder if you apply a lot. Can we please focus on my hand, not my head? Can we? I don't think we can. But so there's a difference between them. Do I use these often? Will I ever use them up? No, probably not. But do I still like them? Yeah, and they serve a purpose in my collection where I sometimes do reach for them when I want that beautiful, like, bright neon pink vibrant blush. We also have an About Face one, which is in the shade Ranchy. I ran out of space. Let's watch that here. This is a very strange formula. I do have to say this is one of the first like cream blushes when cream blushes became popular in a compact. But this is, it's a beautiful shade. You can blend it out, but sometimes like you need to put quite a bit on for it to not blend out into almost nothing. And also, it's just like it's okay. It's okay, but it doesn't like it shows up more almost more on camera than it does on my like in the mirror, and it's fine. It's just not my absolute favorite, but maybe my preferences have changed and I haven't used this in a long time. So maybe I should use it and see if we suddenly like it a lot more, because I remember this being kind of patchy and not swatching too well and blending it out into nothing, but that swatch looks promising, so maybe we should give it another chance. And then we have the Tower 28 Beach Please Magic Hour, which looks like this. I bought this at the same time I bought that Patrick Ta one. And I do have to say the shades of both of those looked a little different online. So when I got them, I realized they were almost exactly the same shade, which you can see this is the Patrick Ta one, this is the Tower 28 one, and obviously they're not the same, but if you buy them at the same time, you can imagine that they look very similar, probably, hopefully. So this is very pretty, it's very creamy, it blends out beautifully. I just put on too much, which is why we get this big ginormo crazy swatch. It has like a slight luminosity to it, which most of these have. I feel like only the Too Faced one is really matte, and no, not a Too Faced, the About Face and Root Cosmetics one are matte, but the Root Cosmetics one is now covered in the Colourpop one, remember. So yeah, so these are all my cream blushes. The ones that like I highly recommend are going to be in my round of blush video, but I hope this helped seeing the different formulas and hear me talk about, you know, what I like about them. Let's wash my hands and get into the stick cream formulas. Okay, so we're back and we have all my stick form cream blushes. And let's start with my 3 Nude Sticks minis. I have the Nude Sticks Mini Matte Luxe Blush Sticks in the shade Rosy Posy, which is currently in my project pan and looks like that. So pretty. In the shade Picante, which looks like this. I do feel like, if I'm honest, Picante and Moody Blue, which is going to be the next one, are a little bit more matte than Rosy Posy is. That's just my feeling. You'll not see it applied, but it's like, I don't know if I'd call it more matte, but Rosy Posy is a little bit more creamy, but it could also just be because I use that every day and it doesn't dry out or something. I don't know. And this is Moody Blue. Now, I can imagine you looking at Moody Blue and be like, Zoe, have like Picante, maybe, but how are you going to use a shade like that on your skin tone? Well, I'm going to show you. First of all, I have 2 ways of using this. This is a little bit. We can totally blend this out to a purple that will work on my skin tone. See? So I would wear it like this. But also, I really like to, I'm going to apply a little bit more there and then apply Rosy Posy. And then I would blend these 2 into one another and get kind of like a ombre looking blush. Obviously, this looks very dark right now, but you know, this blended out on my skin looks really nice. So that's how I like to use it on my skin tone. If you are darker than me, you could probably use a little bit more than I was using. Then we have the r.e.m. Beauty sticks. I bought this one, which is Course Girl, I believe, and I loved it so much that I immediately, like the next Sephora trip, bought another one. This is Course Girl. This, I feel like this is one of those formulas that like people would say like, oh, this blends itself. And I was like, what do you mean? And then I used this and I was like, okay, like I felt like I just had to like tap my skin once with the brush and it blended, like it was blended. So that is what that shade looks like. And then we have Broadway Baby, which is more like diverse of a shade, which looks like this. And again, this blends out so easily, so beautifully. And yes, it's a darker reddish pink shade, so you know, it will show up more than the other one, but it's absolutely beautiful. I just really love a good stick blush. Like, you can see me be like, you probably feel the difference where I was like, oh, it's good, it's nice, it's beautiful in the last like half of the, like the first half of the video, and now I'm like, oh, I really like this. I'm excited. I want to use all of these again now that I'm using them and swatching them. And then we have Milk Work, which looks like this. Now, I do have to say I like this formula. I like Milk's sticks, but of all the formulas, this is the sheerest, because if you blend this out, it will become really, really sheer, which I don't think is bad, but it's just so you know, like this is not, to get the actual shade, like brightness of the shade in the tube on your cheek, you need quite a bit of building. Just saying, I like the formula, it's just so you know. Okay, I'm gonna swatch this here because we won't have any room if I swatch it over there. This is the House Labs Glassy Glassy Pitaya. Can someone tell me what a pitaya is? This is the Color Fuse Glassy Blush Balm. This is a very bright shade, but the glassy part is so true because it has almost like a see-through base. And what that means is when you blend it out, you get that your own skin color is kind of peeking through. And because of that, it works beautifully on my skin tone, and I think on every skin tone. Personally, that's how I experienced it. Obviously, I'm not an expert in skin tones, but it's very, very beautiful. And then this one, which is so underrated, honestly. This is the blush stick by Technic, the glowy blusher stick in Tropic Heat. And this is so gorgeous. It has a sheen to it, so you, like, if you don't like that, this is not going to be for you. But it's a bright, nice, like, coral with almost a golden sheen. And you can totally build this up to be super bright, or, you know, blend it out to be a little less bright. And it's just so gorgeous. And it was like €3 or something. It was so affordable, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And then the last blush to swatch. Now, this has a little bit of backstory because I really wanted one of the Pixie blush sticks. And so I went for the pH adjusting one, which is this. And I really like that, but I really like it on no makeup days where I just, you know, do my brows, do mascara, and then I'm like, ooh, let's put a little bit of this on. I don't really use it on top of makeup. I don't feel that, like, it doesn't feel right. It might just work, but I just don't feel like I should. So I really want to get one of the non-pH adjusting ones because I do really love the formula. I think I want to get that red one, the ruby one, but this is very nice, but I'm going to swatch it on here because pH adjusting things kind of have a tendency to stain a little bit. This is how it looks on my skin, which is absolutely gorgeous. I really like it. It's kind of like a pinky shade. It's very glowy, hence the reason I want to wear it on no makeup days, because it keeps that glow even if you blend it out. So I really like the fact that we have like a little bit of it on the cheek. But as you can also see, it's not very bright. So if I want to use this over a foundation, I don't think it will show up enough for me personally. So I like it. I like it for a certain purpose. I'm not using it every day. And I wouldn't be happy using it every day. But it's a good formula though. So these are all my cream blushes. I hope you guys liked this video. I hope it was helpful. Stay tuned for the liquid part and stay tuned for the final like roundup where I tell you all my favorite products, the ones I really recommend, the ones I'm like super excited about, and don't forget to like, subscribe, all of that stuff. Thank you so much for joining me again. I'm so happy that we're still growing as a family, so thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!